Hey gang, this is Aaron Casillas coming to you with a very special episode devoted solely to Steemit. As I was researching Steemit to get involved personally, I noticed that there are some sites out there with some bad data. With a community this new, it's important to have good information so that you can make good trading decisions. I found the Bittrex exchange and it seems to have the same data as posted on the Steemit site, so I think we can trust this is good. But one bit of caution: the technical analysis tools on this site are kind of limited, so we can't get into some uh, just yet into some really deep analysis. And on top of that, there's not that much data yet. This is the first candle. We're looking at a day chart, so these candles are a whole day, and this is the beginning of trading. So what immediately jumps out at me is that we have some increased volume here, and that's a good sign. This increased volume and a relatively stable price, uh, the closing and the opening are pretty close together. So I think it's finding its floor here. But I want to show you a couple of things that I was seeing as well. If we draw some lines here, you can see there was a downtrend recently that we can, put it about right here. And what happened with in these couple of charts, these candles, is that that downtrend was broken. And that's good news because, of course, if you're holding Steemit, you don't want to be losing value, of course. So that's the good news, is that that downtrend is broken. And we're kind of just hanging out right here, consolidating, and I think we're just trying to figure out where we're going to go from here. This is really good news, all this volume. So it convincingly broke this downtrend. And so we're on to something new. And I wanted to show you a couple of other things. What I'm seeing here is we're kind of developing this pattern here. And what this is a symmetrical triangle. And these are nice to have because once this breaks out, and what I mean by breakout is when one of these candles convincingly goes above or below one of these channels on volume, that's very important. It's got to have volume to count. Then that's generally going to show us where our next direction is going to be, our next trend is going to start. And I'll show you an example of that from the Bitcoin, from a Bitcoin chart that I drew a couple of days ago. This is a flag pattern, and you can see here that it broke out on this candle on volume. Down here you can see the volume, and so that was good for a trend change. Now the reason why we use these charts and these signals is two reasons. You want to have an indication of where the price is going, and second, and maybe more importantly, you want to have a backup plan. You want to be able to get out of the trade if it goes wrong. And in this case, it did. In China, this was in the Chinese market, they started selling hard right around here. So if you were to get into this trade as if it was a new trade, you could, what I do and what people generally recommend is you wait for a full candle to resolve, because you can see these here were kind of like fake outs. If you would have gotten anxious and gone long here, you would have just ended right back up in the channel. But this was a good candle and it was on volume, so you could have gone long here or bought. And then you could have either set a stop right here, at which point when the price came back down, you would have stopped out for a very minimal loss. The difference between what 690 and 680. I mean, it's no fun to take a loss, but it's better than riding it all the way down. Or some people set the stop loss at the trough of the candle within the lower end of the flag, and at that point you would have stopped out right about here. A much bigger loss, and the reason people do that is because in other markets that are more volatile, you can get whipsawed. So if this pattern comes out here, it could come back down here, but then shoot back up. And you wouldn't want to be out of that trade because this flag would still be valid. Anyway, it's just a little bit of a lesson there. We're going to keep. I'm very interested in the Steemit market, and we're going to be keeping an eye on this. And I will be checking back in with you, hopefully regularly, if if we get a good response to this, we'll definitely keep doing this. But this is a very interesting market. I love the Steemit the concept, and we'll see how this works out. So thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day wherever your world is. Take care. Bye bye.